Now looking ahead, how to reform the euro area. Following the crisis, the dominant view is that monetary unions need political and fiscal unity to survive and perform well. But it is really hard because of the sovereign nation states in Europe. No one wants to give up their sovereignty. Fiscal policy means taxes, and we all know that generally people do not want to pay taxes. So it is going to be very hard to create a tax that all EU members accept to impose on their country. The same logic goes for political integration. To understand a concept more in depth, you can have another look at the OCA theory video. So the question is, how to deepen a fiscal and political union. Theory of fiscal federalism helps to understand which function and instruments are best centralized and which are best placed at a decentralized level. To understand how fiscal policy works, here is a link to the video. Any policy put in place should be at the right level, so either the EU level or the national level, and in such a way that the benefits outweigh the costs. More fiscal and political integration could reinforce the EU as a whole, but it is very hard to put in place and get all member states to agree. Fiscal discipline is key, especially in monetary unions because of first, spillovers and contagions when there is a crisis, secondly, free riding at the cost of the neighbors, and lastly, moral hazard, which in this case means the expectation of bailout. So to limit those effects, there are two ways. The first is market mechanism. According to market mechanism, you don't want sovereign default. You don't want your country to default because there is the fear of not being bailed out, which make countries impose discipline on themselves. And secondly, there are formal fiscal rules that you can implement. Market mechanism does not work well in the EU because there have been recent bailouts, which means that countries do not take the no bailout clause seriously. And the fiscal rules are not very efficient either, and very hard to implement. Now, what about you? What do you think the EU should implement to grow as a currency union?